Well, talk about a puzzle I did not enjoy. So, I bought this puzzle at US Nationals 2024 because um, I had a new team and we wanted to practice together a little bit. Um, Fortunately, we never ended up getting to this puzzle. This was way more difficult than I expected from the box. So it's basically artwork of cats in a pastel colored room, mostly whites and beiges and some greens, who are jumping all over uh, various things. So the challenge here was that I thought this was going to be a super straightforward puzzle because there were these chunks. There were cat towers I could look at, there were curtains, there were other things like that. That turned out not to be the case. You'll see in a second. So instead, I ended up starting with the border. So I thought, a lot of these pieces would just jump out at me, and they definitely didn't. All of these greens that I've pulled, I thought would go together really nicely, frame out the puzzle. Could not figure out how they fit together. And you can see I'm like wasting a lot of time as a result. This puzzle, I actually, once I kind of figured out how some of the shapes work together, was a lot faster. I also have a cat visiting my cat puzzle. Um, but all of these greens, oof, they were awful. So then I started to notice, okay, well, there are some of these pastel blues. Maybe I'll just pull together some of these pastel blues and assemble them. And so from there, I was able to get a sort of cat house starting out from the side. You can also see it's starting to get dark. I turn on my lights, but they're not super consistent. We even have clouds outside that are messing with my light. So now you can see those green things are the sort of vertical portions of these cat towers. They all look the same. And they were really difficult. I thought that that was going to be sort of almost like a cheat code where I could build that whole right-hand side of the puzzle using those green things to basically frame out. Look, there's, you can kind of see in the top right now, there's not a whole lot of fur, aka cat, left to build once I framed out the cat towers. But the challenge was is the cat towers just didn't assemble as quickly as I thought they would. And so I wasted a lot of time trying to get them to work and trying to figure out how they fit together. This was also an interesting one strategically because of the changing light conditions. You can see the light keeps going in and out and in and out. And so part of that was I was working on this puzzle as it started to get dark outside. It was also kind of a stormy day, and so occasionally the sun would just go away. And that made it difficult, actually, because generally if you have specific light conditions, like it's really dark or it's really bright, you can kind of figure out how to work with that. But the constant change was definitely frustrating. Good practice, actually, because there was a table at Worlds in 2024 that got seated right under the television screens. And so they had the glare, the constantly changing color glare from the TV screens on their puzzle. I'm now working around a cat. So there was an interesting, as I thought about sort of how I did this puzzle and how I might do it better, one of the things I was sort of thinking about with myself is, do I just actually shape sort at this point? Because everything left is a little bit busy. And while there are some color chunks, like there's that sort of bottom middle, that's a pink cat house, they're not super definitive. They're a little bit hard to see. And we have a cat back. So yeah, so it's like now I think would have been a really good time to shape sort. You can see I sort of pull pieces onto the puzzle and do them, but I think just like strategically shape sorting at this point might have been a better idea. And there we are. You can see this puzzle is really actually quite busy and was not nearly as easy as I expected.